Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the Master of Hoppers. Today looking at some more wild ale from Tommie Sjef in the Netherlands. The last wild ale I had from Tommie was Misto and I loved it. It was amazing. The highest concentration of grape I think he's done in a wild ale, and it was made with actually also a natural wine. So a bit of a hybrid product, but if you love like natural wines and whatnot, I think it's a product that you love. And this sounds a little bit similar. So this is called Cuvée, or Cuvée if you're of the American persuasion. But this is a really cool wild ale as well. So this was released in 2022 in November, I think. And fresh, it was really pungent on the grape, but the base wild ale and grapes can mellow a bit if you age it. And they say drink it really fresh or age it 6 months plus. And it would last about 10 years in the bottle. So it's just got names of grapes here. It's more interesting to read on Tommie Sjef's website because they have the full info on the product. So 7.4% alcohol by volume, and it's this vintage, so Cuvée apparently changes from vintage to vintage, is an extensively macerated beer, macerated on Pinot Blanc grapes. Then they got some fresher beer in there that's been aging on Muscat grapes, and then they also add a touch of spontaneously fermented wine made from Olasz Rizling grapes. And the results they've done with Olasz Rizling grapes in any of their wild ales, or Tommie has been awesome. So he says it's a very nice, aromatic, and appetizing wild ale. So I'm guessing it's going to be good as an appetizer. This is before having a Korean food for dinner. So. And he has some really cool aging taste characteristics on this one, with the nuance of like melon, elderflower, perfume, like almond, tangerine, honey, barnyard lychee. Like it sounds really good. So let's see. What's interesting though, the picture on line showed a lot of head retention. There is none here. This looks like a glass of orange wine. When I popped it, there was also not the biggest fizz. What I'm a bit concerned about is this gonna have developed into something that's gonna be really sour because there's a lot of grapes in it? Or is it just a case of a lower carbonated bottle? Because wild ales and lambic and all these things, often you have a lot of variations, but we'll see. I mean, in general, I love everything he's put out. There's only been a couple where I've been like, I'm not my favorite. Like Funk, for example. I think that that was a bit too sour. But yeah, it's a beautiful, slightly golden yellow, slightly orange hued color. Yeah, you can see there's not a lot of carbonation, so I think that might be it. And maybe it's due to this specific bottle. I don't know. The cork smelled nice. Let's see if the beer smells nice. Let's check it out. It smells awesome. It smells really good. It smells a lot like it's these wine hybrids that he makes. I mean, some of them, like this, both this and Misto, they are on the verge of being like natural wines. There's so much wine characteristics, but there's also actual wine in there. I totally see melon. I'm getting a little bit of a perfumey, almost lavender-like floral nuance to it. Creamy oaky. He says almond. I can definitely get on board with that, like a creamy almond nuance. Apricots, nice like stone fruits, nice musty Brettanomyces type funk, actually a substantial funk on this one. It's drying minerality or something in there as well. And he says melon, and I think it's a bit more stone fruity to me, but I do sense like a little bit of a sweeter cantaloupe melon, I think. Definitely also some citrus fruit, maybe more citrus pith actually as well, because it's got that perfumey note, which must be from Muscat, and then combined with some of the grapes, you get some of that. It smells awesome. It smells a lot like an orange wine. So orange wine with grain notes, really, because there's like a slight little bit of a, the malt presence there. Well, let's try it. Cheers. Yeah, so it's higher on the acidity than Misto, I think, but it's not too high. Like it tastes like a wild ale that's just like on the medium plus side of sourness, medium high. It's definitely not as sour as Funk, but it's definitely got a kick. Well, let's try a second sip here, because often the first sip you have to get accustomed to it. Also, like I haven't drunk that much wild ale in the, like, as you probably noticed by the videos, there's not a constant stream with the kids at the moment, so I don't get to try that much beer. So like, need to get to, that second sip was beautiful. You need to get accustomed to it. Second sip doesn't seem as acidic. There is a touch of vinegar, but it's not overbearing. It's quite all right, but loads of grape quality. I don't think it's as intense as in Misto. And there's definitely more wild ale on the flavor profile, but it's really good. I'm getting lots of like orangey tangerine vibes. Lots of that, lots of perfumey. I totally sense the muscat in this. Okay, there, that sip seemed a bit more sour. But I totally sense the muscat. It's like this perfumey, floral, and what does he say himself? Maybe I'm totally off. I also see lychee. He talks about lychee. And I think the flavor profile is a bit more sharp. So I'm not really pinpointing like the melon as much, but maybe that would have been fresher, more apparent. White almonds. Definitely a lot of Brett. Lychee, almond, melon, elderflower. I see a bit of that. Tangerine, I already said that. Tannins. I actually don't think the tannins are overbearing. I think there's more tannins on Misto, but there's definitely some tannic structure to this. It's not like biting or anything. It's actually quite mellowed already. There's maybe even a hint of like a little touch of like a passion fruit, like something lightly tropical, but it's not like it's not a lot. It's like super light. I think the biggest flavor is like sweet citrus, tangerine notes, and like apricots, kind of stone fruit. I totally think those are like the big players there with like a lot of funk. And that perfumey muscat flavor profile. Almost like you can sense there's been some sweetness from the muscat as well. Drying oak, creamy, oaky woodiness. Maybe even a touch of white pepper to this one. But yeah, it's one of those like blurring the lines between wild ale and wine, natural wine, I think, because there's qualities of both. I think most people who drank this, who do not know anything about the world of wild ale and whatnot, would not think that this is beer. They think it's a wine. And I might even be fooled drinking it myself blind, although I do feel like I definitely sense some grain quality. There's a minerality to it as well. Slight salinity on the lips, which is really nice. It's a nice aperitif, nice sipper. I think this would be really good with like lighter foods, both with like fish dishes, like any kind of like butter-based sauce, like beurre blanc sauce, or like French cuisine, French starters that are fish-based would be really good. This would also be really good with something like a coq au vin Riesling, so coq au vin, but with Riesling wine instead. I think this is a great food beer. I think often wild ales are some of the best food beers around because they are quite complex and versatile and balanced, and they're not too bombastic. Like for instance, big barrel aged stouts. I often actually prefer drinking them as they are on their own, as like a digestive or something after dinner, and then really with food. But this is a great food beer. It's also because there's so much grape quality, I guess. But yeah, it's really good. It's awesome. It's not my favorite of the releases I've had over the last few years, but it's really nice. I got this as part of being a member in the Tommie Sjef membership, and yeah, I think you can age this for longer for sure. But it also feels pretty ready to drink right now, and I think the sourness, as I said, is okay, but it shouldn't be more for my taste either. But it's not leaving as big an impression as some of the others did, like Misto, for example, in recent times, or Sprung, I am really looking forward to trying Sprung, which will be really good. There's still quite a few Tommie Sjef beers in there. And Sean, I'm looking forward to that one. Vinchon, barrel aged. Really good stuff. 92 or something like that. Really nice blend of grapes in this one, and really a lot of complexity. A lot of drinkability, but maybe not as much as some other blends, just because of the acidity being higher, but I dig it. It's very nice. So if you guys had a chance to try Tommie Sjef's Cuvée, from 22. Let me know what you thought of it. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I want to say cheers, and I'll see you guys in another beer review.